Hello, welcome. Sammy here with our tarot astrology reading, and I'm so happy to be here with you today on this beautiful Monday. I hope you're having a really great day in this Leo moon moment that we're having. What we'll be doing is we'll start by listening to the sound bowl and taking a few centering breaths together, and after that I'll talk a bit about what's happening in the stars. And then from there, you know it, we'll pull some cards and do a reading for all of us, a tarot reading that connects to what's happening in the stars. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. And if you want a more personal reading, you can always message me. So I invite you to find a nice, comfortable spot. And, oh, you like my shirt? The lovers, they're kitties. My baby gave it to me. Thank you, baby. So let's find a nice, comfortable spot, and we'll take a few deep breaths in and out. And let's do the 4 count for inhaling, 4 count for holding, 4 count for exhaling. And we'll do 3 cycles of that. And on the last one, we'll take a deep inhale, and as we exhale, I'll play the bowl, and we will chant the sound of universal oneness together, of Om, to let that vibration remind us of who we really are, and that is pure love, and what we really are, which is all connected to each other, and the fact that everything else is just a temporary delusion, and that all pain and suffering is ultimately going to dissolve in the infinite ocean of love. So let's do it. Let's breathe. Okay. Inhaling. 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. That's 1 round. Hold. 2, 3, 4. That's 2 rounds. Thank you for sharing that with me. It felt so good. So what is happening today? Well, the moon is still in Leo until tonight, Eastern time, 1 in the morning, about, I think maybe a couple minutes before 1 a.m. The moon will cross over from Leo into Virgo. That's always exciting when the moon is switching signs. And also, since Venus is in Virgo, that's going to be a really nice transit for a couple of days there, because they're so harmonious, those 2 planets. The moon with sensitivity and nurturing, and Venus with passion and romance and that form of love. And so they'll be there together in Virgo. And Virgo brings an interesting energy to the moon, as it does to Venus, because there is an element to Virgo of really examining things and thinking things through and being careful and being organized. And that tends to be what people really think of when they think of Virgo, but Virgo is also a really passionate sign and a very expressive sign. And even though Virgo cares about order, sort of like Libra, her neighbor, Virgo is also a mutable sign, and the mutable signs are Virgo is mutable earth, Gemini is mutable air, mutable water is Pisces, and mutable fire is Sagittarius. And that means that each of those signs happen in the middle of whatever season they're a part of. And they tend to bring a quality of flexibility and open-mindedness and resilience to those signs. So being mutable earth, things can change, and there's this really powerful ability to be in tune, which Virgo has, with sensuality, and also with the ability to be in discomfort in order for greater growth, and to I think Virgos have this interesting ability to have really a lot of awareness around limits, and also a lot of determination to push through and past them. And so having the moon in that sign with Venus, it's going to be a great couple of days, I think, for being in touch with the ways that we are willing to grow in love, and willing to have structure but also flexibility, and to push through discomfort, and to keep our eye on the prize, which is happiness and harmony, and sort of a good handle on things, and having things be balanced and be calm and even and grounded. So that's where our moon will be for the next couple of days, until the moon crosses over into Libra. And on the 16th, that's when we have our new moon in Libra, when the sun and moon will be together again. And that's 4 days from now. And so when we were coming up on our full moon in Aries almost 2 weeks ago, we talked a lot about, in the days leading up to the full moon, things that we wanted to let go of. And I suggested this idea as one way to have a ritual around the full moon, which was to take the 4 days leading up to the full moon, to each day think of one element, so earth, air, fire, and water, and choose one thing to let go of. And now, since we're coming up on the new moon, and the new moon is all about, the new moon is like this garden of fertile soil where nothing's been planted yet. It's a great time to plant things, and so things that we want to grow and nurture. So I would suggest, if you want to spend the next 4 days thinking about things you want to be growing. And it's pretty exciting, because our next big moon activity will be the full moon that happens in Scorpio. Full moon in Scorpio is always fun, because Scorpio time is Halloween time and full moons and all of that. And then after that, we'll have our next new moon in Taurus. But back to where we were. The next 4 days from now, the 12th until the 16th, it could be a great opportunity to think, okay, what are some things I can plant? And let's see, like for fire, what is an action I want to start taking? So it could be like one thing that you want to do for your business, or one part of your daily routine, like, oh, I'm going to moisturize my skin every day and give myself that love and nurturance, an action like that. Or it could be, making a bigger change in a way that you're living, or something you're doing, and saying, okay, this coming month, or at least the next 2 weeks, from the 16th until 2 weeks later, I'm going to try turning things upside down in this certain way. So for fire, and then for earth, something that I'm going to do physically. Maybe it's a certain exercise thing, or a way of physically expressing yourself through dance, or through affection with someone you care about, or anything like that that you want to change. And then water, emotionally, maybe just like, it could be as simple as picking an emotion and imagining that emotion as a plant that you're going to water every day and say loving words to. And what's an emotion that you want to feel more of? Is it happiness? Do you just want to feel like more joy every day? Is it excitement? Is it calmness? Is it curiosity? Is it flexibility and just rolling with the punches? So picking one emotion could be a great ritual. And then what are we missing? Water. We did water. Oh, air, of course. So an idea, a thought pattern, breath-oriented things. Maybe you want to start doing the breath of like fire, or a certain kind of like we were just doing that, breathing in and breathing out on those 4 counts. So something like that. Or it could be like things that you want. Is there something that you've needed to say to someone? That could be a really good one. Something that's been on your mind that's important for you to express, that you've been carrying around. And one suggestion I have for that, something that's worked for me really well in recent times, recent months, has been if there's anyone in your life who doesn't really hear you when you talk to them, but you really need to share something with, sending them a video of you talking to them, just for like recording yourself saying what you need to say and then sending that off, could be a really efficient way to just know, like, okay, I've done everything in my power to communicate what I need to communicate, and if this person doesn't want to see it or listen, that's their thing, but I know that I've said what I need to say. So that's maybe one great ritual. And if you want to share with me about what you're thinking with that, let me know, send it to me. Maybe I can post some ideas that people send, or we could support each other with that. So yeah, definitely let me know if you'd like to. And otherwise with the stars, we still have lots of square action happening with Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, with Mars, and then we still have our trines happening. There's the trine happening with Venus and Aries, and then there's the what was the other trine happening? Hang on one quick second. Mercury and Neptune, and Neptune is that dreaminess, Mercury is the expressiveness. So yeah, a good balance of harmony and tension. And let's see, I think that's kind of, those are the main things I wanted to talk about for the stars today. If there's anything that you know of that's going on that you'd like to hear more about, drop me a line. And with that, let's turn to our tarot cards. Tarot cards. Tarot cards. Yeah! Speaking of singing about tarot, I am working on something music related for the cards, which I'm really excited to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle a bit, and now's a great time to maybe think about anything that you would like some support with. You can tell me in the comments if there's anything. Oh yeah, and today is Indigenous Peoples Day, so extra love going out to folks in that community. And let's see. Shuffle now. I always say I'm going to be quiet and shuffle, and then I just keep talking. Oh, I forgot. I did want to say, that reminds me. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm such a Gemini sometimes. So the sun is also in trine with the North Node in Gemini, where it will be until 2022. Lucky us for a while. All of the babies born are going to have Gemini North Nodes for a while. So that is pretty rad for all of them. But having the sun in trine with the North Node is powerful, especially if you happen to be someone who doesn't know your birth time or can't find it out. The North Node is a really good point to use instead of that, even though it does last longer, and so it will be the same as a lot of people born when you're born in that year, or however long that North Node is, a couple years. But the North Node is a point that is used by multiple forms of astrology, Eastern, Western, Vedic, etc. And so having the Sun and North Node in a trine, it's kind of like, okay, the people being born under the Gemini North Node, as well as all of us living our lives through the time that Gemini is in the North Node, are influenced by the quality of our destiny being shaped in expression, in the way we talk, in the way we think, in the way we learn and teach, in the way we explore our environment and are able to bring playfulness and curiosity to everything we do, the way we use our hands, the things we create, all of that, and that playfulness and the sense of innocence and the sense of freedom and fun and just like endless curiosity and a lot of energy for sharing. So all of that with the Gemini North Node and having that be in trine with the Sun, while the Sun is still in Libra, it kind of allows us to let all of that shine out of our personality, and also in a balanced way. So all of that Gemini energy in the North Node, in a very beautiful harmony with the sense of balance and justice of Libra. So that was the last thing. That was the last thing I wanted to say. Now I will be quiet for a moment while we. Hey, that's crazy. Okay, I just was in the middle of shuffling the ones I was holding. Sometimes this happens. When I cut the deck, we have the Sun and the Two of Cups, and I was just talking about how Gemini is in trine with the Sun in Libra, the Gemini North Node, and about how there's that balance and sharing, and so that's kind of the perfect image to go with the Sun in Libra during Gemini North Node. It's all about sharing, all about balance, joy, innocence, connection, and and balance, as we said. Okay. Okay, let's cut the deck. All hands on deck. I have the phone in a different position today. I'm not sure how well it's doing. I think it's all right. Okay. Where's you see yeah, there you can see it. Cut it into 3. Put it back together. Spread the cards. And let's pull 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. First card. The world! You've got the whole world in your hands. You've got the whole wide world. Anyone else hear that when they were kids? Okay, so we've got the World card here. It is the last card in the deck. It is the grand finale of the tarot journey, and everything that you have been through has added up to this moment where you have all of the tools you need and everything is balanced, and it's a time of enjoying and celebrating. So there you have it. And that could be one thing as we go into the new moon, is to just want to continue nurturing and feeding the idea that everything you've been through has given you everything you need to experience freedom and joy in this moment. Card number 2. Oh, the 8 of Swords. So here we have a figure wrapped up, kind of loosely bound, eyes covered, standing on this watery, rocky ground under a grayish sky with 8 swords in the ground around her. It seems kind of bleak because she is stuck, but she can free herself. That is the message of this card. These swords represent thought, and she is surrounded by her thoughts, and she's staying where she is, or they or he are in this place, not being able to see, not being able to move. And I think also a message of this card is like, this is a very, being in that place, in that stuck place, is, it's natural, but it's also like a very, it's kind of like, you know, like how a medicine is a poison if you have too much of it. A little bit of this is good for everybody. There are moments when we need to feel what it is to be stuck with painful thoughts, but not for long, because this person could wriggle their way out, and they could walk away, and they could walk back up that mountain into that home and have a hot cup of tea and have a lot more fun than they're having. It's like, it also reminds me of this, I forget who told this story, but about there's these fish. Oh, the sun is setting right behind me. It's so beautiful. There's these fish where they get washed up onto the shore of the water, and if they keep wriggling, if they keep flopping back and forth, then oftentimes another wave will come and pull them back out. A wave that will be strong enough soon to pull them back into the water where they can breathe again. But if the fish just kind of like lays there, the sand will cover it before a strong wave is able to bring it back out to water. So the lesson to me is, if you feel like you can't breathe, or if you're feeling pain or sadness or frustration or anxiety or fear, that's a time to move and to make big moves and make big changes and flop and keep flopping, because then the wave will carry you out. But if you stay still in whatever that situation is, it's hard not to just keep getting buried, and it's hard to be free to go with the flow of that powerful wave and that life-giving water when it comes, because you'll be heavier and maybe eyes covered, blinded by the sand, by the thoughts, by the fears that have piled up on top. So wriggle out, keep moving, and big changes, there's nothing to lose if you are in that place, because you've got the whole world in your hands, and you have everything you need and all the tools you need right now to be free and happy. So let's look at our third card. Oh, and in terms of the stars, you know, we do have, let's see. We do have all of the squares happening. So the square, like the Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, all being squared with Mars, could create some of this feeling of tension or stuckness or wanting to fight against fate. But all of the trines happening, and the fact that the Moon and Venus are about to be united together in Virgo, which is mutable, and that brings a lot of love and nurturance to the ability to shift Earth and like kick that sand off, tells us, I think, like that the tension might be a normal thing to feel, but that the tools are available to wriggle out of that and to change and to step into more flexibility and love. Okay, our third card. Ooh, the Devil. So this card, it's interesting. The Devil card is sometimes associated with Capricorn, where we do still have Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, which just faced off with Cancer the other day, and we had that opposition. And the Devil card is often about things being out of balance, So, things like addiction, um, addiction to patterns, addiction to certain thoughts, addiction to certain emotional states, um, addiction to deprivation. There's so many different kinds of things. And this card and this card are actually incredibly similar, because we were talking about how this person can wriggle out because there's no one guarding them and the bindings are very loose. And it's a similar thing with the Devil card here, because these two figures, and it's kind of also related to Gemini, because we were talking about Gemini North Node, and which is a slow moving point, and then also Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Capricorn, which are slow moving planets, facing off, because this is all about the Gemini energy, is that like liberation and playfulness. And these figures have these chains, these bindings, just like this one, that's loose around their neck. So it's like a big, big necklace that they could just pick up and take off and walk away free. But they are holding onto this. They are staying there. They are being controlled by a very fixed energy, an inflexible energy. So kind of like we were talking about how Virgo is mutable earth, and Capricorn is cardinal earth. So cardinality is like kicking off the season, and it's a sign of leadership. So there's this kind of like very strong something that when you see this card, it's like if something is leading you in a very strong direction, but it's something that is keeping you from being able to be flexible and free and to find the balance that you need to be happy, then it's not something to follow. So identifying things that might be leading you, whether it's a person, a group, a thought, an emotion you've been having that's leading you to being tied to stagnation in any way, or to feelings of heaviness, or like you can't find the brightness, that it is within your power, since you have all these tools, to take those chains off of your neck and to shake those bindings off of your body and walk away free. Yeah, there's nothing keeping you here except for your own hesitation. And this card is a message that maybe something is out of balance, and maybe that there is something to shake free from. And in a very literal way, shaking the body and dancing, or just moving that way, taking walks regularly, doing that physically can have a really big effect on the mental and emotional parts of it. So wiggle and dance and be free. And that is that for the evening. So thank you so much for being here. We will listen to the sound bowl, take a breath together, and then that will be it for tonight. So inhaling deeply, exhale. Thank you for being here, and by the time we see each other again, the moon will be in Virgo, and we will be 3 days away from the new moon. So I hope that you have a beautiful night, and take good care of yourself and dance and wiggle and enjoy.